Moving to this now, the latest data from StatsSA shows that over the last 5 years, the cost of residential properties in South Africa has grown by an average of 23.8%. While that may seem like a decent number for a national average, some provinces or metros are either surging ahead or lagging far behind. Newzroom Afrika's Andersen found this report.
Owning property. It's something that all South Africans strive for, whether it's just to have a title deed or buying the dream home for your family. But in a world of rising costs, for millions of South Africans, it's a dream that will never come true. For those buying and selling, the high interest rates over the last few years have hit hard. Despite this, the latest 5-year data from Statistics South Africa, released this month, gives a national and provincial breakdown that shows residential property prices are still growing. While the national growth over 5 years sits at 23.8%, the Western Cape, unsurprisingly, has had the highest gains. The province's residential property prices have risen by 35.5%. The lowest growth was seen in the Eastern Cape, with just a 0.9% price increase over the last 5 years. Despite hosting the economic hub of the country, Gauteng's growth figures are also low for those investing in property. The province saw 16.4% growth, half that of the Western Cape, and below the national average. In terms of the country's metros, Johannesburg stands out, and it does not make for good reading. Property price growth in the metro stands at just 8.6% over the last 5 years. Every other metro in the country outperformed Johannesburg property. According to Samuel Seif, chairman of one of the largest real estate companies in the country, the issues in Johannesburg come down to people's confidence in the safety and services of their property investment.
Bonds generally are taken out over a 20-year period, and you've got to have confidence in the future if you're looking to make that investment and look for a 20-year investment and hopefully get return. And generally, you've got a cycle at the moment that is negative, much like you've had in Japan, where they've had no growth in their economy, and people didn't buy because the assets that they were looking to potentially buy would be cheaper by waiting and then buying them at a later stage. And the Johannesburg property market, unfortunately, to a large extent, has had the same, and it suffers from a lack of confidence.
Levels of violent crime and people selling up and moving to Cape Town have also played a role in Johannesburg property's lack of growth. Seif insists that while it is not all doom and gloom, and things can quickly change in the metro, especially due to the value buyers can find in property in Johannesburg, a closer look at Joburg's growth figures makes it even more worrying.
If we can resolve some of the issues regarding water and that kind of thing, and there can be perceived increase in a positive lifestyle within Johannesburg, hopefully that will reverse. And what I think will happen, not quite sure you'll get a hockey stick effect, but I do think you'll get a much greater growth in Johannesburg. And that's because, as you pointed out, you've had a much greater lag in terms of appreciation over these past 5 years. Remembering, if we've been talking about a 5 to 6% inflation over the last 5 years, an 8% growth is quite a significant depreciation, actually, in real terms.
Seif, like other property and economic experts, is anticipating some relief for owners next month via an expected interest rate cut. If 2 cuts are seen by the end of the year, realtors predict an increase of buyers into the market across the country. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Andersen in Johannesburg.